years ago, we were looking at that out there, and we were told at that time that 10 feet on the other side of the fence was our responsibility.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
Wow.
10
Like
feet
we said, it's in the middle of, the fence is in the middle of the property.
Because we had, how it got started, we had trouble out there in the back with the state come in and said we had invasive plants. And the trouble was, they didn't know where the lot line was.
Oh, okay.
And at that time, Lee County had that property. And they didn't come under that. We had it cut down, Myaluka and Brazilian peppers and that, but they could leave it. And I said, that's crazy, because it blows over and then we have to pay to get rid of it.
Yep.
And that's when it came up about the wall there
Is
what
ours.
we are responsible for.
Okay, well, John, when you have a free moment, can send somebody out and take a look
Yeah,
at
no,
it
I'll go out there tomorrow. Take a look.
and see how long, yeah, I'd like to,
I'll walk it,
honestly,
I'll get up on top of it and walk it and look at the other side, see.
this is terrible, I've never been back, I have no idea where the wall
You
is.
never seen it?
No.
Yeah.
Pretty bad back there.
Is it? Maybe I'll come down and I can look at it.
What's the gentleman that used to work, used to own the
Ron.
Ron
He lived back there. He had this on the corner, and he was
Yeah.
always particular about that corner.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see it, so, okay. All right. Does anybody else have any comments? Yes.
Good evening. My name's Adam Dalton, 11382 Stratham Loop. I'd like to take this opportunity to announce my intention to run for the next vacant CDD board position. I humbly ask for your support and vow to do my best to support the community-related services infrastructure for the Stony Brook residents. Just a little bit about me. I graduated from the University of Cincinnati in 1998 and continued my career as an aerospace engineer, financial auditor, leading mergers and acquisitions, a chief operating officer in Europe, and most recently running a few of my own businesses here in Southwest Florida. I've lived in Stony Brook for over a decade with my wife Emma and our children Luke, age 13, Ava, age 10, and I'm pretty familiar with the major products the CDD has completed over the time that I've lived here since 2010, and I hope my background and knowledge would benefit the community, the residents, and the board, and I thank you for your consideration.
I'm so sorry, Adam.
Just gets to
Adam, your last name again?
Dalton.
Dalton.
D-A-L-T-O-N.
Okay.
No, that was great.
Actually, on that, I guess we can say, what are we, how are we going to proceed forward with that?
It's
Filling the seat, I know we obviously as a board vote on it.
Yeah, you need a vacancy first. So
Yeah,
once we
so-
get to the point of vacancy, you declare the vacancy, and then you'll go through however you want to decide to do the process.
So it'll be your first meeting in November probably, because
It'll be December, because you got to be 2 weeks to the other side of the election, outside of the certification period, yeah. And we land a little short because we move it up because of the holidays. Yeah. Too late, we're going to be on the ballot. So it'll be a December thing.
But it's not, yeah, that's not the ballot. We will decide.
Yeah, you will, because nobody qualified.
Right.
Yeah, because we'll have our meeting on what, the 14th?
Yeah, which is just.
Yeah, so that's not 2 weeks. The 21st would be 2 weeks from the election.
Okay.
So it would be December. So it would be the December meeting is when we would,
Exactly.
now would we have people come in November and talk about it?
If you
Or-
would like to put out an announcement, which I think you've done in the past.
Yes.
And take resumes, give them a deadline to submit a resume, use my email address for them to send it to, shut it off, I'll get it out to you ahead of time, we'll put them in the agenda package, and we'll invite them to come and interview, if you will. Give them 3 to 5 minutes, they'll tell you a little bit about themselves, give you an opportunity to ask some questions, and at some point you'll have to make the decision. So
Okay.
that's a board vote, and
So
in this
that-
case, it'll be a 4-year term.
Okay, so if I put it in the newsletter, I mean, I will send it out as an email blast as we get further along. I'm just thinking that the September newsletter is going to be, because I've got the bond and everything. So I'll put it in the October newsletter, and then I'll send out information. Are you on the email blast for the community? Okay. And then we'll send it out that way. There were 2 seats open Only one of them had someone qualify. So we do have that, what?
Masochist.
Yes, I am. Wait a minute. So information will be out, so it'll be the November or December meeting that we would ask you to come back to. But thank you very much, but the information will be out there.
Yeah, and that one's also early in the month because of the holidays. We tend to roll that meeting
the
out.
14th,
Instead of
I
the
think?
fourth Tuesday, it's going to be the second Tuesday. I think it's the second.
That would be the 13th
13th of
of
December.
December.
And that would be at 9 o'clock in the morning. So put that on your calendar. Okay.
But, and for our purposes, are we going to ask people, I mean, we might as well talk about this now since we're on the topic. Are we going to ask people to have resumes in by the November meeting or?
Probably something like November 30th.
Yeah.
So I can get them out to you ahead of time. They can be in your agenda package. They'll go out a week before the 13th meeting. So
And then we'll have them
give you an
do that
opportunity if you want to reach out to some of them and sit down.
conversation.
Talk a little bit one-on-one.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, okay, so that'll be,
Evan, can I ask why you didn't run?
Yeah, two reasons. Number one, I had one business which I recently divested, and the amount of time that I was spending in that was quite substantial. The second reason is I was spending a lot of time on the project for the homeowners association, leading, I guess, the work with the architects for the new building. And I didn't want to split my time too thin. So those two reasons, they're both now out of the way. So I'm ready to jump in.
Okay.
thank you. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you very much. Thank you for coming tonight. And we'll be in touch. Okay, any other public comments? Okay. John,
Yes.
you're on.
All right, let's do it. So during all this budget process and good stuff, I forgot to add something to the budget. The new truck. So, we got that late in July, or mid-July. So by order of Chuck, I have to say it like this, that we need to make an amendment, or somebody needs to make a motion to amend the budget. The monthly lease is $807.69. I gave everybody this handout. So at some point in time during tonight, we're going to certify the budget.
Right.
We need to also say this with it.
Okay.
Chuck, you better explain that. So
No, you
that's
did
just,
good.
and it's, so I mean, it's a substantial amount. I mean, it's going to be what, what's that, 9,600? It's going to be 10,000, quite $10,000.
Yeah.
It's not a lot, but.
But it's money.
And I wasn't sure because I thought it was a capital lease, but it's not. Then we'd only pay the interest-only portion of the budget. Okay. Anywho, moving forward, staff report, we are fully staffed and we are cranking, man. It is so awesome to be fully staffed, it really is. I mean, just the improvements I'm seeing. I got different people in place, they're making great strides. Really happy with the way everything's going. I got two people, two of my new guys, a former board chairman's grandson, Tyler Frith. He's doing amazing. Real smart, bright young gentleman. Another kid, Tyson, Dee, another resident's son-in-law, if you will. He's doing great as well. It's almost like there's a different light, down there. It really is. It's great.
Can't find a place to park a car anymore.
Yeah, the parking lot is completely full. We had some parking issues. Got to let people know their place. Like, hey man, somebody parks there, they're parking there. It's stuff like that. No, it's all good. Yeah, it's really good. You can see the older people that have been here a while. You can see the relief that they have from not doing as much work, and just getting so much more done and back in the rhythm of just knocking things out. The aerification we had went great this time. The new tool implement that we bought to pick up cores fought us tooth and nail for the first 2 days. I mean tooth and nail. But we finally got it to where it needed to be, and it worked out. It worked out great. It really did its job, man. But it was interesting nonetheless. As a lot of you may have seen, we've taking out a lot of the landscaping up at the pro shop and some palms. We're gonna be ready to grind some stumps and get some pavers and some new landscaping going on there. I'll let Jeff speak on that a little bit more later. We have had some small issues of vandalism here recently. Some people just driving right over the flags while they're in the cup. Happening on 13 and 14 and 15.
And John, we left those flags out there since March of 2020.
So March of 2020, and now we got to take them back in, unfortunately.
Start pulling them again.
The reason being, yeah, thanks to Jeff's staff, they're pulling it for us. The reason being we have to pull them back in is, any place I talk to, we're like 9 to 10 weeks out on flag sticks. So I have some old ones, I have some all white ones, I even have some red and white ones that we would use at the very end if something would happen. But I have new flags on order, but that's just where we are. So that's why we had to pull them in, because we'd eventually run out. And I'd be asking buddies and colleagues if they have anything extra in, their tool sheds.
So were the flags taken, destroyed, or?
No, some of them, yeah, a couple of them, when they ran it over, and then that flag bent inside the cup and hit the lip of the cup, it frayed it in their fiberglass. They can't have people touching it because it'll get into,
Right.
So yeah, some of them, 2 of them, I think were rendered obsolete.
How much are the flags?
The flag sticks are like $95 a piece.
So we'll charge
Probably
that.
now, they're
We'll charge
probably
that
more.
back to the general fund.
Yeah.
John, does that happen during the time the course is open, or is that?
No, they were at night. You could tell because you can see the tire tracks on the greens from the dew and how it forms, and you can tell it's later on at night.
What do you think, was a golf cart or a car?
Golf cart. But you can tell by the wheelbase. It was a golf cart. How they turned on the car wouldn't have got back on 13. You would think the homeowners would. That's a tight. That's one green that's real tight to the.
Yeah, and I live on 13, and I see golf carts driving down
Yeah,
the
that's
path
right. You do. Yeah.
all hours.
It looked like on that instant they came from 14 both times.
Is
15.
it weekend or weeknight?
Oh, weekend. Yeah.
Especially on the weekend.
But the greens weren't damaged?
Yeah, a little bit around the cup area. Yeah. But there was a minimal fix. I mean.
I want to be adamant about this. I know I brought it up, we talked about it, we voted. I mean, if there's damage done to the course, it's clearly a resident or a guest of a resident, and
correct.
so the general fund should pay for it. The golf course should not have to pay for damages brought by non-golfers.
Yeah, I need to invoice those too. For it.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, even if it is only a couple $100, it's still a couple $100, and
It's
it's
200
the
here,
point.
200 there,
Exactly,
200
it's the
there,
point.
and it'll just build up, so,
So I just want to make sure we hold to that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Quick question on that?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I have a question. I have seen a golf cart with its lights on, I don't know, don't ask me. Like, when you go out here, you turn left, and then that course that goes, what we consider
12.
11 and 12, like at 10 o'clock is sitting there. Who do you talk to to let know? Because we have no phone number.
And we'll go down this path, right? So you can call the security guard at the front gate and let them know. Usually by the time they get somebody out there to check, and they don't even have a rover to get on the course, they can just pull up the road, they're usually gone. Or even if they can see them, how are they gonna get out there? They're gonna walk, you know what I mean? So, and we've had this issue in the past, that we get a nighttime security guard. Once again, even if they're on a car, they get a call, by the time they get out there, they're gone. And then what are they gonna do, get a chase, and then that's dangerous, somebody goes off, I mean, it's been this weird.
When you call the security guard out there,
Yeah.
it's right to a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
have to
exactly,
go-
that's another.
You have to go through it.
You have to go through the whole thing,
If you
It
wait
is-
long enough, listen to the whole message, you can press number 4 and the guard will answer.
You gotta go through the whole thing, yeah,
Thank you.
yes.
But at the end of the day, the guard really has very little jurisdiction.
Right.
We have to call the sheriff, and by the time a sheriff deputy gets out here, the people are long gone, and it's unfortunate, but that's just
The
kinda how
only
it
thing that
is.
would help is if we got the tag, the cart number, but you can't see the cart number from where you are, it's not big enough.
What time
But-
do people quit? I've seen lights, and I don't really know what time, but I figured it was on number 10, or, driving out in pilots, condos, whatever. I've seen lights at night, but it might be 9 or 10, and I really thought, well, you guys might be out
No.
doing something.
No, I mean, maybe a handful of times in my 10.5 years here, we've been out at
So if
night.
someone's out there, they're not you.
Some people come up to Duffy's, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they ride back home
Yeah,
that way.
I didn't see anybody do anything other
Good
than
thought.
lights,
John, it seems like a majority of the vandalism's been on the back nine,
Yeah.
since I've been on the board anyway.
I mean, since you went on the board, but historically, no, it's kind of spread out pretty evenly. Yeah, we used to have a lot of damage on 3, because it's so close to
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, oh yeah.
I'm
plenty
just
of
wondering if there's not a couple of strategic places where we could put cameras.
Put some trail cams up and just check them out.
I mean, at this point, we're spending hundreds and in some cases thousands of dollars to fix this stuff, so a couple of cameras would at least help us identify who these carts are. Because if they're in the community, they have to have a registration on their cart.
Yeah. Like 13's tough, right? You can put it on the bridge somewhere, but if they see it, it's theirs. Take it,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? So, right? I mean, if I was vandalizing someone, like, oh, look, a trail cam, just took my picture, I'm taking it. Yeah.
Well, we have to, yeah, I mean, we discussed.
So you can't just put it on a post and have it be, it has to, like you said, strategic 13, you can maybe put it on the bridge, but if it, yeah.
Well, the access points would be the roads, so if there's a light pole there, that we can stick
High enough,
some
maybe
20 feet up in the air.
Get a good enough picture of quality.
Yep.
That's always the issue with cameras.
Something to look into.
Quality,
Yeah.
picture.
Or how about at the little stop signs? Would you be able to them at the pass?
Well, that's the
They'd
question.
see them.
But if they see them, then they'll take them,
They'll take them.
right? You know what I mean?
It's gotta be up high where they can.
Up high or mounted, like hard mounted,
Got it.
you know?
Jeff, when we talk about the other cameras, just ask those guys what their idea is.
Yeah, and you know, there's gotta be some kind of security devices for guys that put their stuff out in the woods. I imagine they're not gonna put them up high all the time, and they want them in a certain spot. There's gotta be some kind of lock box or something. I'll look in to see if I can.
Okay, thank you.
Those are all fantastic suggestions, and you cannot legislate morality. And these.
They'll we can charge back on what they.
We can.
Yeah.
We can charge back. but-
We can find out who the carts are.
I mean, the bottom line is somebody's, it's probably someone's child who should be a little bit more under thumb.
And get them trimming or hand weeding the pond areas to pay back the cost. That's what we gotta do.
Yeah. Well, knowing our luck, one of them would fall in and drown. And
Try out there. Snatched up by a gator.
Snake. Okay.
That's where I'd have my son.
And then we just need a little bit of rain, believe it or not.
Okay.
So it's very hot, man. It's very, very, very hot. I just bought a whole new round of 5-gallon coolers for staff, and just said keep the pool taking with you. Please
Yes.
stop, take breaks. You're not gonna see me stopping. What are you doing? If I see you underneath the shade tree and it's too
No,
hot.
it's too hot.
It's very, very, very hot.
Yes.
So, but we could use a little rain, believe it or not. You know.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, it's something, you see the fairways, some of the fairways like 6 and stuff, they're getting hot, 8, you know, I mean, we're running water, but.
How long Lake is it too?
Yeah, how fast, you
And we've
know.
had threats of storms every single day.
That's right around us.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the winds, like my house too, the winds pick up and then nothing.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I guess we're gonna hopefully approve the budget.
Okay.
I have some
Unless there's any
things.
questions about the golf course. Oh, I'm sorry, September aerification, we're gonna be solid tining and top dressing, but it won't be pulled cores, and it won't be as much sand as we typically put down.
When is that?
That's,
The 12th and 13th?
12, 13,
yep, 12th to the 14th. And we will be open the Monday of Labor Day, and Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, close the rest of the Mondays throughout the month.
Correct.
Yes.
Till October 1st.
Through October 1st.
October 1st, that's the first Monday.
Yes, sir.
John, can you make a note on 13, not the preserve area, but the area behind my neighbor's house, actually? There's about a 3-foot gap that hasn't been cut for weeks. It's in bounds, it's not out of bounds into our property, so.
Not that wide.
She gets that in that rain, it shouldn't be wet.
Not now. You guys are finally moving behind.
Yeah, so
11.
hopefully get it done before they.
Yeah, we finally got to mow behind 11 and, what's the other area just seeing logs? 14.
I mean, this thing can knock out with a weed eater and like.
Oh, it's that small?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not, it's one width of a lot. my neighbor's lot.
Okay. Do you have anything for John?
Yeah, I have a couple things, John. There were some emails about those trees on Langhome up against the house on the,
Took care of it.
okay,
Trees on Lango. Mr.
it's Ed something, I
Yeah,
can't.
it has a very, like, kind of long last name.
Yeah,
Yes, we had-
right
we had-
there, the first house on the right.
He had the leak, right? We fixed it not too long ago.
Yeah.
The gentleman.
Well, no, this is across the street from there.
To the right? First house on the left or right?
Depends which way you're going.
You're going down the street.
Into the road.
When you hang a left off the main road onto Langhome, it's the first house on the right. It's along the walking path.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure we got it.
Crosby said she was working on it, but I never got a verification
And
email
I told Brian
back.
about it, but for some reason,
And
I
I
left
keep
my
forgetting to
head.
look to see if you did it too.
I have left, okay.
What about Kennedy and those ficus trees? Did all that, he emailed probably months ago, but we were waiting for the guys to come in because it's too high for you guys to do. Up against the wall, they're at, isn't he on Sheridan?
Yes. No, they'll be in, and we'll still get that taken care of.
So that hasn't been done
No,
yet?
that
I was
hasn't been
just
done.
following up. Okay, so that's still pending. You and I talked about, and I'm going to talk to everybody, we've had,
before.
yeah, in between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Basically Chris's house and there. There's some bushes, well, on the left side, as you're going from 4 to 5, a lot of those bushes have died. It looks pretty bad. I talked to both homeowners. Originally, because I talked to John, I'm like, well, why don't we just take out the bushes? Well, the more we talked through that, one of the reasons the bushes are there is to keep people from driving in their yards.
Privacy as well. Yeah.
And privacy, but more about people because
It's very tight.
if you remember
Yeah,
Chris
it is.
Payne's house, he had he put that wood pile there to keep people from driving in his yard, and people didn't think that looked all that great. So then we planted the bushes because before we put the wood pile there, people were driving through his yard. And we would have to fix that. So now we have a situation where we have a bunch of dead bushes, and from talking with them, they don't want the bushes gone. So are we going to replace the bushes? Those bottle brush trees, they'd like those gone. I think that might help the bushes, maybe?
Okay.
Because those provide shade, which would keep the sun off those bushes. What do you think? What do you want?
What's there now?
Weepy bottle brush and viburnum. Some of the viburnum are dead, can be replaced. We have to use irrigation or we got hand water.
Okay.
Right, we don't have any irrigation.
McGreevy, who lives on the, again,
Right,
going
the
from
other
4 to 5 on the
side.
left side,
Yeah.
he emailed and said that he actually had some extra irrigation put in to help water those bushes, to keep them alive. That's what he said. Actually, I can pull it up right
So
now.
he's been there from the beginning, I assume.
Some agreements on the left and Payne's on the right.
Correct.
Okay.
But overall, that area doesn't look all that great. And there's a lot of weeds and stuff that have grown up too, beyond just that.
And I would love to take those bottle brushes out. That's gonna be not necessarily expensive, but it may get a little tricky because they're right next to the car path. You're gonna want to ground, they're gonna want the stumps ground, right? It's a real super tight area.
it is,
Super
yeah.
tight. Like, there's gonna be damage done. I'm just gonna tell you now.
It's
When you go
always
to- When you
wet.
go to grind them stumps, there's gonna be some kind of irrigation, some kind of something. You're gonna have to call before you dig, get them out there, but damage will be done. It's just so much of the damage to the car path is gonna be done. So there's gonna
That
be.
car path is always wet.
Well, that's what
Down
Chris
to-
was saying. Water pools on the path,
Yep.
and that's why people drive around the water and end up either riding in his yard or McGreevy's yard, because they go around that water.
And the reason a lot of the time it pools is because right there is where the car path meets from Coquina to Concrete. So the Coquina gets off and it always clogs that drain. And we gotta stay on that drain to keep it flushed out and clogged. And then plus, from the other way from the car path, it goes uphill when you're leaving. So all that washes back down during heavy rains and stuff, and it all collects right there at that drain.
But
It
according
can
to
be done.
McGreevy, he paid to have some extra irrigation put in to water those bushes to keep them alive.
So it sounds like take out the trees and plant more shrubs in their place.
I think that's what they have
Would like us to do.
and I think taking out those trees would probably help keep the bushes alive. Not to mention the sidewalk,
It would definitely help, sidewalk.
because that sidewalk also, there's a couple places where the roots are
But there's
pushing
gonna-
that sidewalk up.
There's gonna be some sidewalk repair needed to be done with the removal of the trees.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's already sidewalk repair that needs to be done, or cart path repair that needs to be done there as it is.
Okay.
And a couple of spots for the trees.
Okay, well, can you look at it and price it out?
I can have them come in, yeah, because I got Corey coming in to hopefully take down these 2 trees behind the pro shop this week.
Right, so it sounds like you got somebody coming in that could potentially handle this as well, and while we have them here, we might as well have them do it.
Don't make them come out for a second time, okay?
That's all I had.
That's it? Okay. All righty. John, you done?
I am.
Okay, Jeffrey?
We are having a great month again, and we did over 200 players on Sunday. We're above budget as of today by 16,000. I just looked at the numbers, I wasn't able to put a sheet together, but we're 16,000 ahead of budget, and it's just a phenomenal year cash-wise. And we're doing some exciting things in front of the shop. John came in, and the guys, Bushwood Tree Service?
Yes, sir.
Bushwood, that's funny.
After the Caddyshack.
So anyway, they came in and tore out everything. It kind of looks like a construction zone. I'm moving it as quickly as humanly possible. So maybe the first thing we could talk about, I got a bunch of stuff I gave you guys, and John gave you the Master Z paver quote. So this Master Z paver quote for $33,572 would include pavers around the front, in the small front circle area that was one time overgrown with vegetation. There'll be pavers in there and a new flagpole, a 25-footer, with an American flag flying right in front. And then we will pave a, say, 4-foot section out in a circle around, and then John will work together to landscape that in like a zero-scape style with the least amount of water, and try to work best to, make it as beautiful as possible. The pavers will continue, if you know the putting green side of the building, all along the side of the building will be pavers, and then in back where those bushes used to be, and all kinds of animals used to hang out, people do trash and all kinds of things, that will be pavered now as well. The eventuality is the door, well, we would hope, when we redo the pro shop, that the door will actually get moved over a little bit, because we're looking to expand the bathrooms, and we can get into that then when we get into those pieces of material I gave you. Also, I talked to Phil and Mike met with Casey at Duffy's, and we talked about expansion of their patio, where their current patio is run along the hedge line. The hedge line would come down, the tree would come out, and the patio would go almost like 10 feet from the cart path, and then come over to where the tree is on the right. The tree on the right would come down there, and that sidewalk would come out, and all that area would now be paved. Phil had mentioned the possibility of a fire pit, and I ran that up the flagpole with Joe, our insurance guy, and I'm getting some information on that. That's up to you guys. But Master C could build a 20-person fire pit that will be run on gas. That's not included in this price. But I think those would expand the seating area for Duffy's Outdoor, which, as we all know now, we own the building, which is terrific, because now we're able to do these things and make this look enhanced and better and get into the 21st century. We're able to expand their profitability, and their profitability ties into our bottom line. Tony, before I start talking here, are we okay to talk a little bit about percentages and their lease at all?
The lease is now a public record.
Right.
And I guess one aspect of it, and I just Is the concept, Jeff, to lease an additional area of the property to Duffy's for them to do this outdoor patio? Because then we would need to amend their lease, and then we'd need to figure out how to address that. And I think Lisa Paul would be helpful on that, too.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yes.
Phil, that was kind of your idea?
What's that?
We would lease additional.
I'm not sure about that part of it, but I would think that would need to be discussed. Of course, we're getting paid on the comp above a certain amount. So
Right.
if that's going to increase them over that threshold, we're going to get a 5% bump anyway, right?
Right. But I do think we should talk to them about an additional lease. I mean,
That could be tied into the concession discussion.
Okay.
If we're going to consider them taking over concession, and they're going to be leasing that, correct?
That would be correct.
Yeah.
Well, that would change the square footage of our lease that we pay you guys, because that would reduce our square footage and increase their square footage. I don't know now if currently the lease he has in place includes the outdoor seating. I don't know if they include that in it, in the square footage.
Lisa, are you on the phone?
That would be a question for her, but I think overall, the bottom line is, and we're okay to talk about this, anything over 2 million is, 5%. So if we take them from 3.6 million was the number that was floated out by their CFO, would that be correct? 3.6 million, if we could take them to 4 million, that's an additional 20,000 that would go into the community. So, plus, it would be really nice. I mean,
It's more of the way I looked at the whole thing was an amenity for the community. It certainly would be a benefit to Duffy's, but it's more going to be beneficial to the community to have a place to go, drive your golf cart, drive your bike up to, etc. Take your family up there, have a few drinks, have some dinner outdoors. And this is primarily, obviously, in the cooler months. But there will be outdoor cover with, I don't know exactly how we're going to architecturally do the seating and that kind of stuff.
They would do the seating, but I do think the fact that we're giving them additional property, that we have to adjust the lease accordingly. For insurance purposes too, and for the reserves, for tax purposes and all that. So I do think we would have to do something with the lease.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
To codify it as opposed to having something loose. You want to have it in writing. You
Yeah.
want to have all the terms and conditions detailed,
Right.
How did was it the regional you met with Friday?
Yeah.
How did he react to the? He was good. Outdoors,
they're excited to have. He told me that they signed the Buffalo Bills fan club to come, and it's 100 people every Sunday.
Wow.
Is that to my daughter-in-law? She's a rabid Buffalo Bill.
She can join.
Oh, yeah, she's from North Tonawanda, so.
So they were looking for like a possibility, and that would give them, if they could put them outside and have ordinary.
That's where Buffalo Bills fans need to be, is outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
No offense.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I have a question. Did I hear you correctly? You are going to put a roof over that outside?
I certainly would prefer to have some sort of cover out there, and not a permanent roof, but some sort of shade element.
Well, they put a new awning there, and that would be on Duffy's.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, they had the umbrellas before, and now they have like a cover.
Like a bikini type,
Yeah.
whatever it's called, shade.
And if this goes through, they'll most likely do that on the other side as well, so that would expand that. But yes, if they're going to use that, we need to adjust the lease accordingly.
Yeah, and that would be a modification, obviously, it'd be outdoor and not as,
Well, we'll have Tony work on that.
Yeah, I
there's
guess.
got to be some comps to something like that for leases for other restaurants, I'm assuming, for outdoor space versus indoor
I'm
space.
sure, and I think, again, that's where I think where Lisa will come in handy, and they give
Yeah.
us realty. provide some comparables, or we can always talk to the appraiser that did the work, because there were a number of commercial establishments in that appraisal, I think, that were
Yes.
utilized as a basis. And so I think what might be helpful for the board to determine what kind of team will be working with Duffy's initially to sort of get some bullet points of the deal terms, and then come back to the board.
I think we would have Lisa and Phil Olive and Jeff work and do that. I would have the three of you guys do that.
Yeah, we can work it out.
Okay. Oh, the other thing, before you go any further. Yes.
I was just gonna say, I think it's genius. If you think about this arrow, there's no outdoor seating that does not look on a parking lot.
I'm sorry, can you say that louder, please?
There's no outdoor seating that doesn't look on a park.
The genius part.
Oh,
The genius. Yes, Phil.
Man, I want to kind of crap on your guy.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
There's a drain
Okay.
next to the building. It's in about the middle of the building, and I'm recalling this now. During some heavy rains, we've had some undermining, like the drain can't hold the amount of water coming off that roof, because I'm pretty sure it's tied into the roof. So just bringing this up in clarity, like we need to address this, because if during the summer, once we get a heavy rain, it may blow out, and then you have a hole
In the papers.
in the pavers that would be probably about the size of this table,
Yeah.
roughly, you know what I mean?
Now, so they could
So we
do
need to figure that
underground
out, because I don't know how it's all tied in. I know that the majority of it, I know it's pretty much tied into the roof. But we've had some, when we had the flower beds there, we had that issue a couple times, I remember. So I want to address that. I'll get up there as soon as possible and dig it up.
Okay.
See what we
Just take a
got,
look.
what we can do, or what needs to be done, if it's,
Okay.
Short up.
short up,
Figure it out.
yeah. If it's out of, because I don't think you can abandon it, right?
No.
So now, there's gonna be a drainage system under this paver.
Yeah.
This is,
Okay, so,
To
The other thing-
digress back, do we need to approve this?
well, that's what I'm